All right. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Making of Podcast. I'm your co-host, Ashley Joves.
And I'm Colin Samry.
And we're back. We're back with another
We're back.
quickie.
Every time you say that, I can't help but giggle. And I think in some of the other episodes, I've actually cut it out because I'm like, oh man.
It's just a wham bam. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Today is Friday and we are recording in between a few of my conference calls. So we're going to make this quick and dirty.
Yep.
Did I say that last time?
Probably. I think you said wham bam. Thank you, ma'am, last time as well.
All right.
Welcome to our minds.
Yeah.
No, today we're going to do another Smile & Co. episode. Last time we kind of talked about working with like an architect and stuff. So this time I wanted to talk to you more about some of the design details because I think, and I've said this on other episodes, Smile & Co. #2, Roseville's Smile Design Studio, looks so different from your first location. And it's one of the things I think you get complimented the most on just overall is like your design and your choices and whatnot. So you had mentioned having a Pinterest board that you took to the architect. Can you kind of tell me like what was on that Pinterest board? Like what was the overall aesthetic that you were going for?
Oh, this is my favorite topic of all time. Yeah. No, so Smile & Co. was actually named after Tiffany & Co. I don't know if you guys knew that, but our Folsom location, our chairs are actually the Tiffany color, that robin's nest blue. I think that's what it's called. And yeah, that was the aesthetic for the first location. And for the second location, I mean, it had been 6 years since opening the first startup. And I wanted our palette to be a little bit more grown up, a little bit more sophisticated. So I like to say, if Tom Ford meets dentistry, what would that vibe look like? And on my Pinterest board, there were no dental offices. I did not want it to look like another dental office. In fact, I had clipped photos from New York boutique hotels or restaurants or even resorts. And a lot of the trends were blacks, whites, neutrals, a very clean, minimalist aesthetic. And that is what Smiling Co. Roseville looks like.
It's funny too, because I've talked with the architect before in the years after the office has been opened. And Smile & Co. #2 is actually on a lot of other dentists' Pinterest boards.
Oh,
Did you
that's
know that?
awesome. No, I didn't. I'm flattered. Thank you guys. Yeah, no, it was really fun kind of brainstorming. I basically said, if I could live here, what would I want it to look like? And what did I want it to feel like? And I wanted it more like a swanky boutique hotel that smells really nice. It doesn't smell like former Cresol or typical dental offices. And similar to the design in the first location, we don't have walls that separate the lounge or like the patient waiting area from the clinical area. So patients are really free to roam around. It's really bright, open, airy, tall ceilings, big windows, lots of light. And the palette is just a very calming, relaxing vibe. And it's one that I wanted it to be more timeless. The Tiffany & Co. color, I love that color, but I'm kind of sick of that color in the Folsom office. It's really cute. I liked it. I loved it at the time, but I tend to change my mind a lot. Colin's like shaking her. She's like shaking her head sarcastically. And I know that I'm never going to tire of neutrals.
You mentioned smell. What did you do actually for like a scent in the office?
Yeah, I bought one of those hotel air fresheners. I forget what it's called. It's the one that you put in a diffuser and it like puffs the air like once every 30 minutes or whatever it is. And we had so many patients just compliment that scent. But then Kelly, our business team, she was pregnant. And when you are pregnant, you are very sensitive to smell. So I actually unplugged it. I think it's about time that we reintroduce it again.
I think so. Do you remember what the scent was?
Oh gosh, I don't
We can
remember.
look it up afterwards too, because it's
Okay.
actually the same one that one of your favorite they use, right?
Yeah, it sounds familiar. I just am blanking on the name. It really does smell like you're in luxury. It's
hmm
so nice.
Oh, we'll have to find the name and then
Yeah.
we'll link it in the show notes and maybe the newsletter for everyone too, because patients loved that for sure. Okay, so Joe Architect was able to kind of really bring your Pinterest board to life. What was like one of the biggest surprises for you, I guess? Did you have one when you saw everything actually built? Like surprise, like in a good way.
I wouldn't say surprise, but it is always so much nicer to see the renderings brought to life. Because when you work with an architect, you get a 3D rendering of the entire space. So you're moving through it in a video format, and I mean, that already was so cool. I think maybe the herringbone floors I really just loved with there's little inlets of gold built into the tile work also that I just love. No, they just did a really great job. And Joe Architect. So I don't know if you guys know, but I'm kind of bougie. I want I wanted there to be so many different kinds of lighting in the office. Okay, that maybe that's a surprise.
Okay.
So I had envisioned so light makes such an impact on ambiance, whether it's a hotel, a nightclub, a restaurant, that uplighting, downlighting, it can really transform a space. So, because I have so many cool angles and like high ceilings, and I wanted to uplight certain things like artwork or like patient transformation smiles, I told the architect, I'm like, I want all these cool lights. And then also I want lights lighting the hallways so you know exactly where to walk as a patient. So they worked on it and they did an amazing job. And I really wish that you could have seen the rendering. And then they said, so what was your budget for this? And I was like, oh, that whole budget thing, that sucks. No, the lighting package alone was going to be 200 grand. I'm
That's
like,
insane.
remember when I designed to have a fireplace in the waiting room?
Yeah.
A
I was going to
fire,
ask you about that.
oh my gosh, a fireplace that is a see-through fireplace that separates the lounge from the consultation room. So immediately when you open the door, you walk in and you see through that cool fireplace. I thought that was going to be such a focal feature. And that alone, they gave me the schematics and just like the specs of what that would entail. That was going to be a $45,000 fireplace. I was like, okay, Ashley, slow your roll. I also, Colin, do you remember how I wanted to build an actual kitchen in the break room? Yeah, they vetoed that also. They're like, you don't need a kitchen. You people are going to be microwaving their lunches. And I was like, no, but you don't understand. We have team meetings, we host parties. And they're like, not for the amount that it's going to cost to get you there because permitting, you need to
Yeah.
have the exhaust stuff like
hmm
gas, electric, all of that. And to retrofit that space, they're like, it's not worth it. I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah. I remember the permitting being a big thing for X-naying the kitchen.
Yeah.
You
They're
already
like,
paid enough in regular permit
oh
fees
my
for the
gosh,
office.
it is. Yeah. We paid way too much just for that freaking piece of paper to say that we can build. So just be very mindful. Sometimes your champagne taste is not going to match your hot dog budget.
I love a Costco hot dog.
Dude, I love a Costco hot dog. Um, so I think even after all the compromises, our office is still incredibly stunning.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, friends, I just want to give some love to Net32 for supporting this episode. If you're a practice owner like me, you know the back end of running a dental office isn't always sexy, but it is necessary. Net32 is an online marketplace where you can compare brands, vendors, and prices all in one place. That means you're not overpaying or wasting time. And when you're building a startup or juggling multiple practices, every dollar and every minute matters. I've used Net32 and it's honestly made a huge difference. Check them out at net32.com/the making of. And now let's get back to the show.
Can you walk us through a little bit of how they sent you all the samples of everything? Because I know you
Yeah.
did have to change a few of, again, like the tiling
Yeah.
picks and things for,
That freaking budget. Yeah. So Joe Architect, after I flew to Denver for that, the first design meeting and the walk through, they had samples of all of the materials, flooring, tile, millwork. They had it all there laid out on the table. And what's really cool is you get to feel it, make sure that there's no texture in the LVP, which is biggest takeaway. Don't put texture in your floors. You're welcome. And
that was my one request.
that was, oh my gosh, Colin, literally, I was feeling the floors. That was most of the time there. It's like, no, this has to be completely smooth. But, anyways, I digress. So, all of those design choices were then mailed to me in a box, a very, very heavy, large box to my house so that I can make sure that I still love it. And they also, like for wallpaper, they would send samples. Basically, anything that I could potentially think of, they would narrow down the choices. And then I got sent the box. And the box is really fun. And we did an unboxing video, which was like, I don't know, 4 hours long, Colin. It was so long.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what was the next part of your question? Sorry, I just got excited about the design box.
No, it was basically just the design box and like how
Okay.
that went. And so basically they sent you, it was like floor plans
Yeah.
with each type of material and everything. And I remember having to like match it all and trying to decide. That was a very lengthy process.
Yeah, it really was. And of course, this is only because my designer slash architect is out of state. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure when you work with someone local, which is what I did in the first location, that was really fun. I didn't get a box in the mail. I just went to her Roseville office and designed it in person. But yeah, I don't know if everybody loves this part as much as me, but if I could just design anything like smile design, dental design, that's all I want to do.
Can you just walk me through like some of your hardware choices? Just like tell us some of those details of all the little things. Because even Rich mentioned in his episode recently of how like he wanted, what is it, like a matte one or a
Yeah.
black one, and how things weren't the way that he wanted it to be. And I feel like that always comes up for some reason.
Yeah. No, it's so a lot of the hardware choices actually were chosen already by the architect. And that
Hmm.
was actually really nice because that in and of itself, like trying to figure out what handles and pulls and
Hmm.
sink and faucet and just even the down to the like the where you put your bag when you go to the
Oh, yeah.
restroom, even
There's
that was all designed and they all had to match. They're all matte black. I think
hmm
I have a few brass gold knobs. I don't
hmm
remember, but they did all of that. So I just had to approve it, which they did a fantastic job.
Now, I know they picked like a lot of the lighting for you, and you mentioned that, but you also went out and found some of your own lighting,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Where did you find that stuff? And like just some of the little things that you bought yourself.
I would say most of the lighting, like the chandeliers. So we
Hmm.
have two chandeliers that are in our break room over the conference table. And then I have a chandelier in the consultation room, a chandelier over the check-in desk, And then I have a like a floor lamp in our patient lounge. All of that was either Crate and Barrel or West Elm or
Okay.
CB2. But
Okay.
they gave me, they're like, we don't have anything for this. Go ahead and choose whatever you want. And then I went shopping, which is so fun. Went shopping and then made sure that it fit the specs that were allotted. And then I would email Felipe, the main architect, and he just wanted to confirm that it's to the standards. And in California, there's everything has to be low voltage. So you have to make sure that you're not, burning through like wattage
Mhm.
on your lamps. What is light bulbs, all of
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Where did you pick some of the furniture and stuff too that you have?
Oh yeah. So my a lot of my living room lounge, I don't know what to call it. I hate the
Basically living
word
room.
waiting room. I hate the word waiting because you never want people to be waiting, right? But it basically is a lounge. It
Hmm.
was from a furniture store called Rove Concepts. They're based out of LA, I believe. Rove Concepts. So I bought my furniture there, a lot of my chairs there. So my chairs are either from Rove Concepts or West Elm.
And I mean, one of the seating, it's a sofa.
Yeah.
You don't have just like chairs in your living
Yeah.
room lounge or
No,
anything.
it's an actual sofa. And who chooses a white sofa to be in a business? Me, I do. So we're
Hmm.
always cleaning that damn thing. And the kids, I mean, we see families, right?
Hmm.
We don't see a lot of kids in the Roseville office, but when they come, they are so comfortable. They put their feet up on the white couch. They
Hmm.
kick their feet on the edge of the couch. So Kelly and Judy are always taking a, what is that, magic eraser
Yeah.
or like
Scotch
spots,
guarding it.
scotch guarding it, and then with soaping it, just with a little
Hmm.
bit of hand soap and the dish towels. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys, that our office is so high maintenance. It's so beautiful, but make sure to choose a fabric that will withstand the test of time for sure.
Can you tell me about your coffee bar too? Because that's something you don't have in the first location.
Yes. So I know a lot of people are doing Keurigs or
Hmm.
Nespressos, which I love, but I mean, Nespressos can be upwards of $1.60, $2 each capsule. So I wanted something that felt like it was brewed just for them. So I have it, I don't remember the exact model. I think it might
Okay.
be a Breville. I'll get you that, but it's
Okay.
basically a single serve. You push the button, you choose your size, intensity, and then it grinds the beans then and then makes your single serving coffee. And then we have sparkling waters there. We have different flavored syrups and creamers also.
And I don't know if this is the same in other states, but for California, everything is very specific for ADA, like counter heights.
Yes.
And it was very difficult to find a mini fridge that fit those specs.
Oh my gosh, it was so challenging. I know. You don't even think about this. That half an inch or whatever it
Hmm.
is means that 90% of what's commercially available to you will
Yeah.
not fit in those ADA accessible heights. So that's another thing. Make sure you're aware of your state laws regarding that. I know that we had to make changes
Hmm.
to the millwork. So I would have to buy well, I actually bought one that I couldn't return because it was a non-refundable online purchase. And when we tried to put it in, it did not fit, which it's still upstairs actually in my home. And there's tape everywhere. I'm so Filipino. I'm not removing the tape ever. So it's not even getting utilized. But Joe Architect, because we wanted it to still look custom, they ended up giving like a a platform to
Hmm.
the fridge in one of the, because I have two mini fridges. One is patient facing in the coffee bar, and the other one is in the cosmetic lounge. And they propped up the cosmetic lounge with a little platform so it looks more built in.
All the little things. Can you tell me a little bit about your cosmetic suite too? You kind of touched on it last time, but I know you put a lot of intention behind that as well, which is totally different than most practices. So just kind of walk me through like exactly what is in the cosmetic suite and like what your thought was behind that for patients.
It's so interesting because, like, looking back at the entire design process, I honestly think that if I just had a cosmetic suite, I would have been just as happy as building out an almost 4,000 square foot building, because that was my main goal. Like, I
Yeah.
wanted something that felt truly catered to that cosmetic patient. So
Mm.
when you walk into the space, the cosmetic wing, I call it the cosmetic wing, is to the left. And in there, you'll find a cosmetic photo studio. So I have my light boxes, I have a black painted wall, and I have a mirror set up. We have a like a concierge type of desk where I envision somebody being there to be able to check in and out the cosmetic patient without having to go to the front desk. We're not there yet, but at one point, I hope we will get there. And then you turn the corner, and the entire left side of the building is the cosmetic studio. So you have your own restroom, which is so luxurious. I can't even tell you. Every time I use that restroom, and I have river rock as the flooring, it just feels like you're in a spa. It's a
Mhm.
different color than the other two restrooms in the office. I have a glass door that is gorgeous. What is it called? It's called where there's like black, it's like a picture frame. I don't know what to call it, but it's the black glass that just looks like it should be part of a storefront. I'm totally butchering my words, but if you
And
need
I'm no
if you
help right
need
now.
if you need photos, we'll make sure to link that in the
Yeah.
newsletter. So, and then behind the cosmetic studio, I have my personal office, but in that office, I also have a big screen TV, a couch, and like a mini fridge setup. So patients who have long procedures, they can put their snacks, protein shakes in the fridge. If they have questions or if they want to sit down and just take a breather, we have the couch for
Mhm.
them there. I know my boys, whenever they visit mommy's office, they go straight to the back, close the door, turn off the lights, and watch YouTube on my
Mhm.
couch. And they
Mhm.
actually close the curtains too. I'm like, you guys are way too comfortable in my space.
Sometimes I don't even know that they've come in because
Oh
they
yeah.
literally go straight into that room.
It really does feel like a standalone building. Like, if
Mhm.
I just cut off that left-hand side,
Yeah.
it could be self-sustaining. Well, minus the fact that there's no sterilization. So one thing that I will say is my team does have to make sure that everything is set up. That office is an island, and we treat
Mhm.
it as such. Like, because I don't want them to be roaming back and forth, because it's not the shortest walk to the sterile. But my team's really amazing at checklists, so they're on
I
it.
I think one of my favorite things about the cosmetic suite is the bathroom that's right there,
Yeah,
because then you don't have to have a patient who's fully numb,
yeah,
face is pretty much a mess, walking through the office past everyone else
yes.
to use the restroom. And like you said, like just having a little space for them to take a break in the middle of a full day procedure is so
It's
nice.
so nice, and I think it is this single most thing that we get complimented on
Mhm.
for. I mean, when you're thinking about a high touch procedure, a high production value that these people are willing to spend to
Yeah.
transform their smile, it's a different clientele altogether. And everybody just says, like, we've never been to a dental office that feels like this. Like, it feels very luxe. And that's exactly what I wanted to achieve.
You kind of barely touched on how the photo studio, the wall behind it is painted black. Would you recommend? I mean, if a lot of offices don't have as much space as this
Yeah,
office
yeah,
does, but just finding like one wall somewhere to paint black,
yeah.
because in Folsom we use one of those
The pop
like
up,
pop-up thing. And for a while we were using a
a
like
cardboard.
a cardboard, yeah, for like a school presentation,
Yes,
something
yeah,
that an assistant would have to hold,
yes.
behind, and that worked, but I think
Uh-huh.
it's really nice having at least one black wall somewhere to
It
take the photos.
If you want to start doing higher end dentistry, I can't recommend enough about learning how to take good
Mhm.
photos.
Yeah,
It will make you a better dentist overall when you can really see all the nuances and details. But if you think about the general dentist, the
yeah,
typical practice, they're not taking headshots. They're not, I mean, so, and that's part of our patient experience. When you come here, we're going to take your photos. And patients always say, like, oh, are you a photographer too? I'm like, heck yeah, I'm a photographer. And I always tell them, if you ever go to an office where they want to do cosmetics and they don't take a single photo of your face, run. Like,
yeah,
there's no way to communicate what you look like to your ceramist. And ultimately, your smile is designed to fit your face. So,
yeah. Awesome. Well, I think that's like a really good start into your design. I want to cover next time like how many ops you equipped, some of the equipment that went into it, because I feel like a lot of your equipment also fits into just your design.
yeah,
But is there any lasting thing you want to tell the audience of just, I don't know, something that you're most proud of? You already talked about some of that, or anything you would have done differently. I don't know.
I think really knowing your long game.
Yeah.
If you know that you're in it for the long haul, that you absolutely love dentistry, that you're going to be retiring when you're old and gray and can barely pick up a handpiece, then design
Sounds great.
exactly then design exactly the type of practice that you envision for yourself. But if that is not you, which I find in this day and age, most
Yeah.
of the doctors who I'm meeting, having conversations with, they're not looking to retire at 70, 75, like all the generations that came before them.
Mhm.
They're looking at building a mega practice and having associates and being in network, but just really fine tune that. Who is your avatar? Like, what in dentistry really sparks joy? And for
Mhm.
me, it really is slowing down doing the bigger cases. But I also wanted more room because I don't want to be doing it on my own. I want to
Yeah.
have that big team that can really take care of the patients in all aspects of dentistry, not just the smiles. So, yeah, fine tune that avatar and then build it. But also be mindful of your budget because if this is your first rodeo, don't go balls to the wall. This was not my first rodeo.
Yeah.
And I knew exactly what we were capable of building because we already proved it. We proved it to be successful. So let your imagination run, but also know where you're at and what stage of life you're in and what your risk tolerance is and where you're at financially to take those bigger risks and just be patient with the process because one person's story does not necessarily mean that it's going to be your path.
Yeah. Um, I love it. I think that was a great episode. And if anyone has any questions, I will try to find the answer to like the scent diffuser and the espresso machine, and then we can link that in the
Yes.
show notes and the newsletter as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Making of Smile and Co. We're excited to have you a part of our journey and just a part of our community. Make sure to join our Facebook group. Make sure to follow us on all the socials and join our newsletter. We're like dropping lots of stuff.
It's
Yeah.
like one of my favorite things that you do now.
Yeah. You're one of my favorite things.
Our hands.
All right, guys, have a
All right.
wonderful week. We'll catch you next time, and we'll be sharing more behind the scenes of what it takes to build your startup. Bye.
Bye.
$250,000. That's how much the average dental practice loses every year to empty chairs, no-shows, last-minute cancellation, gaps that just sit there. Casper's Opportunity Finder constantly checks your schedule and sees every gap the second it opens and helps your team fill it with one single click. And for every open dental user, it's completely free. Go to meetcasper.com/register to download it today, because profit isn't the opposite of purpose. It's what funds it.